Well, firstly, let me say, disappointed not to be able to actually be with you and say these things face to face, as it were. But taking advantage of this medium, it's an opportunity to do the second best thing. And the first thing to say is what an enormously important contribution the whole voluntary sector in Medway has made during this awful pandemic that's been sweeping the whole world. And I think there are lots of examples of people going above and beyond what would normally be expected during this period. And examples like delivering over 20,000 meals to vulnerable people in Medway, supporting our shielded people during the early weeks and months of the pandemic. That work was carried out by you, the volunteers. And to be quite frank, speaking as leader of Medway Council, we could not have done as an effective job as we have without the work that you've all been doing. Now, we all know about the heroic efforts of our NHS workers and within the council, our social workers, but very often the voluntary sector are the unsung heroes, and often people take for granted what individual volunteers do. Now, that may have been on a very small scale, picking a prescription up from Mrs. Biggins down the road, or it may have been a much more sustained and long-term commitment helping individuals or families. All of that people doing from the goodness of their heart, from a sense of community spirit. And I think that's one of the things that was so heartening to see, that the strong community spirit that prevailed all across Medway, and still does today, of course. And as we unfortunately enter what is looking increasingly like a second wave, we're going to be working with you and calling on you again to step up to the plate and help us to protect the people of Medway. So enormous thank you from me as leader of the council, from the whole council, for what you're doing. Please carry on doing as much as you can. We'll support you as much as we can. Thank you all.